River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Niner Nuts. Dan here with the whole crew, Mr. Jimmy B and Mr. Easy E. Happy New Year, gentlemen. This is our first episode of 2025. How are you doing?
Happy New Year and Merry Christmas. Jordan Mailata was robbed, and rest in peace, Bill Berge.
Indeed. Eric, how we doing? Can't
You're
hear you.
on mute.
I am. I can't follow any of that. Just Happy New Year.
No, rest in peace to Brian. Oh, sorry.
Bill Berge, the great. I think Eric.
Is that Brian Gumbel?
Can you remember Bill Berge, Eric?
I don't know who that is.
So Bill Berge was the linebacker for the Eagles back in from 76 when Dick Vermeil got there till I think 82 or 83 maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was probably he was at one time the highest paid player in the league.
He made like $20,000 a year.
Yeah, on the defensive side, he made like $1 million a year. I think he was like the first $1 million a year defensive player. So
that's what's up.
All pro linebacker for the Eagles, passed away on Christmas Day. So repping 66 for Berge.
There you go.
There you go. And rest in peace too to Brian Gumbel. That was heartbreaking news. I love that guy. It's gonna be sad not hearing his voice anymore. But we're here.
It was Greg Gumbel. It wasn't Brian Gumbel.
Oh, it was Greg. Oh, sorry, Brian.
You just killed off a Gumbel.
I killed the wrong Gumbel.
The Today Show mourns.
Oh my God. Yeah, Brian is the one with the HBO show that only goes once a month.
Yeah.
God, that's funny. But anyway.
What a gig that would be.
Yeah, no, I thought Real Sports was more semi-regular than once a month. And then it was just like, oh, I guess we have to wait forever for these. Anyway, we're here to celebrate. It's a new year. Try to have fun with the rest of this year, even though we didn't do a Tuesday episode because of New Year's, but yeah, we fought pretty hard against the Lions. I'll put it that way, but alas, we still did not win, and we were 6-10 now. But we'll save more exclusive Niner talk for the back half of this, as we usually do on a Friday, because Fridays are our parlay episodes. So we do have one final regular season parlay to parse through with you guys. Of course, gamble responsibly. Check your local jurisdiction laws and whatnot. These are subject to change as well. So, gentlemen, this is a weird one. If anybody was paying attention, this is a very weird one because several starters are sitting because the playoffs are upon us. Lots of teams are locked in. Like 90% of the teams are locked in. So, got a little creative with this, but we are picking we're picking a handful of the starters that are still playing, and we'll get to them as we do. But to kick things off, the Buffalo Bills at New England. New England gave them a run for their money last time, and the Bills got nothing to play for. They locked in the number 2 seed, and you know what? New England's playing for pride. They want to give a reason to keep Gerard Mayo as their coach for another year, even though my Patriots insider says he should be fired. But but the Patriots pulling off an upset against Buffalo. None of us disagree on this. I for one think that this is extremely likely to happen.
I mean, it's at New England. The Bills locked up the number 2 seed. Can't get the number 1 seed. Why even play anybody for risk of injury? Exactly what the Eagles are going to be doing this weekend. So I'm sure the Patriots are going to be starting all their starters. pretty much. So yeah, I think Patriots over Bills money line, pretty decent call there.
Yeah, I mean, exactly what you alluded to in the beginning, Dan. We went with a lot of options here that were, the teams that were still playing for something, and that had something to give, or players that were still going for something. And in this particular case, the Bills have absolutely nothing to play for and are expected to sit everyone. And so, I guess Josh Allen is supposed to at least trot out there for a series to keep his starting streak alive. But other than that, that's going to be the end of that. So he'll get out there and hand the ball off 3 times and walk off the field. But yeah, I mean, you made a good point. The Patriots gave the Bills a run for their money last time. No reason to think that the Patriots can't just go ahead and win this game with the Bills sitting all their starters.
Yeah. No, it's going to be my favorite backup, Mitch Kissintitties, doing a majority of the playing for the Bills. And honestly, like, we haven't talked much about the past this year, but Drake May, like, he's kind of having the same problem as Caleb Williams. Like, he's a great player, just absolute dog crap around him.
Here comes Eric. Caleb Williams is good, right?
You just said Caleb Williams was great. I'm going to take a ton of offense to that because he's not. I will say that Drake May has been having a very fine and playing as you would expect for a rookie. And I will give you the credit that Caleb Williams has performed better than I thought that he would, and is probably playing about what you would kind of sort of expect for a rookie, but he is by no means great.
There needs to be a coach. There needs to be a new coach to drop an atom bomb of discipline in Chicago. And I think Pete Carroll would be the best coach for that. I really hope they hire Pete Carroll.
Vrabel would be good.
Are we having a Justin Fields conversation from like 4 years ago, having it now with Caleb Williams again? Like, I feel like this Chicago Bears quarterback being good as a rookie is going to be an endless and perpetual conversation that we just have until the rest of time.
Mitch Trubisky
argue
whether
the Bears rookie quarterback is great, good, or garbage.
Yeah, I mean,
Mitch,
that's a good point.
Caleb.
That's a good point, Jimmy. Was Caleb's first season really any remarkably better than Justin Fields' first season?
Or Mitch Trubisky.
Like, in some regards, no.
Yeah, I mean,
no, like for real, there are numbers now, and in a lot of regards, no, it was not better than Justin's.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think like it's just until the Bears change ownership, it's just going to be perpetual conversations every 4 years about the Bears rookie quarterback and if he's any good.
Right.
It's going to be.
I do apologize too I should have saw that can of worms coming, but I was trying to say Drake May was having a really good season with a really terrible team otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Just and to be fair, again, I will be fair to Caleb Williams. His rookie season was way better than Justin Fields' rookie season.
He set a rookie record for most pass attempts without throwing a pick. I'm just throwing that out there.
He threw for almost 3,400 yards and 19 touchdowns. I mean, that's really not terrible.
By Bear standards, that's like an A+.
Sadly, like coming of Jim McMahon at this point.
Can we bring back Smoking Jay?
Yes. Oh my gosh, bring back Jay. Jay was. I still have that Jay Cutler jersey hanging up. It's for my dad. I'm not trying to kill the mood, but yes, objectively, it should be hilarious that I have a Jay Cutler jersey hanging up. I will give everyone
the best Bears quarterback since Rex Grossman.
Wow.
Sadly, that emphasis on sadly. But speaking of rookie quarterbacks, keep this trend going. Our one bet for the Kansas City Chiefs going to Denver. Kansas City sitting everybody. They're sitting everybody that they can. So Bo Nix, I can't believe this was a line. Like, I'd have been cool if you put this at 200 or 225. Like, Bo Nix, in theory, this defense with a bunch of starters sitting out, like, Bo Nix has been having a pretty awesome season, especially for a rookie. So this is very safe at 175. I personally would be comfortable with it higher, but for us wanting to hit, Bo Nix 175 seems pretty good, even against the Chiefs, because again, it's just going to be a bunch of second and third stringers, because Kansas City did lock in the number 1 seed.
Yep. Andy Reid resting his starters because they locked up everything is a sure bet as any. And I'm pretty sure in these games where he's locked everything up for the number 1 seed, I think his record is like maybe 1-6 or something like that. Like, so generally when Andy Reid sets the rest of the starters, they lose. And they're not going to care that they lose, and they're not going to care that they give up 180 yards to Bo Nix. So I think this is a pretty decent bet right here.
They're probably gonna give up 300. Let's be real. But when Bo Nix is not against competition, he'll destroy them.
Yeah, the only reason that because this was one of the ones that I sent over, the only reason that I proposed this being so low was because I was actually afraid that Denver would get out in front so far that they would then sit Nix as well. Because if Denver feels that they have this game in hand, there's no reason to continue playing Nix and taking the chance of him getting hurt as well. So I saw this as possibly being, 24-0 or 24-3 at halftime or something like that, and them just pulling Nix and him, sure, being well on his way to a 250, 300-yard game, but only having 175 or 180 or something at the time when he gets pulled. That was kind of my fear of that, and that's why some of these passer numbers that I suggested were a little bit low this week, because in all those situations, I was just seeing some sort of a blowout probability, and then, like I said, them just pulling the other quarterback as well, because why have your guy out there accumulating stats when you're in the playoffs next week? Because Denver knows if they win this game, they're in. They control their own destiny. So again, if they're up 21 points and the Chiefs haven't been moving the ball all day,
there's no point to rub it in with the injury risk, because you want to succeed in the playoffs. So that's a very fair rationale. I still say that in the end, Bo will do very, very well, but that is very fair. I honestly did not think of them sitting starters if the game's like wholly out of reach for Carson Wentz. But moving on to the Saturday primetime game. This is such a fun time of year when we have Saturday football games. The Bengals, fresh off a heart attack against, the Broncos. Now they're going to go to Pittsburgh, a division rival. It's a Saturday doubleheader, all AFC North teams. The Browns and the Ravens play before them. And that was loud. Joe Burrow playing for his life. He still needs a little bit of help, but he's going to do everything that he can to make sure that the Bengals get the win, if nothing else, even though they need some help. And he should be a first-team All-Pro. We just had the Pro Bowl announced today. He was obviously a Pro Bowler. He should be a first-team All-Pro, and frankly, he should be in the MVP conversation. He's not going to get it, sadly, but no, Joe Burrow, 275, 2 touchdowns. He is going to, even if the Bengals defense gives up 500 yards, he is going to throw until his arm falls off. And against the Steelers, trying to get into the playoffs, I don't know if they'll end up winning or not. But Joe Burrow's stat line, as it has been every week for the last 6 weeks, it'll probably eclipse 300 yards and frankly 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, how long has this streak been going, Eric? Because I know you can pull up those numbers. How long he's been passing for 200
over 250,
and
I think
over 250 and 2 touchdowns.
I think the last 5 or 6 games he has gone over 250. I don't know about the touchdowns, but
he has gone over 250 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in a row.
All 2 touchdowns too.
All 2 touchdowns. All 2 touchdowns as well.
8 games in a row. So
insane.
Yeah,
and that includes playing the Steelers once before.
What was his stat line against the Steelers when they were in
309, 3-1?
Wow.
Yeah, I argue me if you want. I think he's going to throw 302 touchdowns again, if not 3.
Yeah, I agree. Just the streak, they'll continue that streak against Pittsburgh, no problem.
Yeah, you have the added couple added things to this one here in the sense that, if Baltimore wins in the earlier game, which they're going to just wipe Cleveland off the map in the earlier game on Saturday, then the Steelers technically have nothing to play for. So the Steelers very well may sit their starters, which then obviously gives Burrow even more ability and more chance to throw for yards, as he's going to go ahead, and the Bengals are still playing for what they need to play for because the Broncos don't play until Sunday. So at the time this game is played, the Bengals control their own destiny. So they're still going to be playing hard regardless of whether the Steelers starters are in or not. But he could be playing against Steelers backups. Burrow also has a chance to hit 5,000 yards on the season. He's currently at 4,641. So he needs 360 or 359 yards to get to 5,000. That might interest him from a personal standpoint. So
it's going to be a pretty damn Herculean game to get that many passing yards.
Well, 51, that's doable.
I mean, it's Burrow. He hit it. Good.
He hit it already twice this season
against the Ravens,
against the Chargers, and against the Cowboys. And against the Ravens. Yep.
I was going to say that one overtime Ravens game was just madness.
Yeah. Yeah. So against the Ravens. And against the Broncos. So he hit it 4 times. Jeez Louise. So yeah, I mean, really not out of the question for him to possibly end up at 5,000 yards. He's got 42 touchdowns. I mean, he could get over 45 touchdowns. So, I mean, there's a number of reasons for him to throw the ball around, kind of like you said, Dan. So
first team All-Pro, and honestly should be in the MVP conversation.
He should be. It's a shame that his team, sucked so bad in the beginning of the season. And I mean, still,
it's a shame that the Bengals exist. Yes, it's a shame that the Bengals exist.
every one of those defensive starters in Cincinnati need to be kissing his feet that he is carrying how just god awful they are. Except for Trey. Trey Hendrickson's amazing, but
yeah, I mean, if his team had 4 or 5 more wins, he'd be the runaway candidate for MVP.
Oh, hands down. Like, I don't know, not to make it a whole about that, but just objectively based on stats, like, no, I would not be voting for Lamar or Josh. I'd be voting for Joe Burrow because it's just insane what he's been doing this year, and he might not even make the playoffs for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, while Jimmy has stepped away for a little bit, we're still going to keep on rolling with my boy Baker Mayfield. He is still alive. Thank you, Commander Daniels, for playing a part in getting the Buccaneers back on top of the AFC or the NFC South. And not only are they playing to lock in the division against the New Orleans Saints, Mike Evans is 85 yards away from an 11th consecutive, not just 11 total like our boy Jerry, 11 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. So they are going to go all in. Everybody wants Mike. Saints players, I bet there's a handful of Saints players that want to see it too. But Baker Mayfield, he's like Jameis Winston, but with a couple less interceptions. They're going to win. Mike Evans is going to hit. We put it at 80 for the bet line, but Baker's going to do everything he can to get him to 1,000 yards. And in doing that, he's going to cross 225 because Baker just he would throw 60 times a game if the coach would let him. But yeah, no, my boy Baker, I strongly think that all this is going to happen, especially too, because the Saints low key suck.
Low key. I mean, they if you think back to 15 weeks ago, we all thought they were great. They were 2-0 and they had scored the most points or whatever.
Yeah, it was like 70. It was like a 75 to 10 point ratio.
Yep, and here we are, Saints at the bottom again. So don't you just love the NFL season?
Indeed.
Yeah. So yeah, I believe it's going to be a passing day for the Bucs. They should easily win this, being at home against the Saints, and I think every bit of that record's gonna happen with Mike Evans, and Baker's gonna do whatever he can to get Mike what he needs for 1,000 yards for the 11th straight season. Yeah, so I agree. This is it feels like an easy bet. So
Yeah, that's specifically why I included this one in here, was because I looked up players with incentives in the last week of the season. And I saw Mike Evans had this one on here. So
Baker's got some
I sent that
incentives
one.
too financially.
His are already all locked in.
Oh, okay.
So I saw this one on here. Evans needs a bunch of catches too, but we couldn't quite bet on that. He needs 2 more touchdowns as well to get to like 10 for the season as well. So all things point to him getting fed the ball a bunch in this game. So I think the 80 receiving yards is going to be easily doable. Everybody knows that that's money in his pocket, and we've all seen quarterbacks go out of their way to make sure that their guys get their money when it comes to the end of the season. So I don't see any reason to be worried about
unless
that.
your name is Antonio Brown.
Very, very true. Okay, so the second picture was just for our last game. Unless anybody else had some thoughts on this other than just the Saints are going to get killed and Mike Evans, we're going to witness history. Like, do we all agree there?
Yeah.
I can't wait. I love Baker. I love Mike. It's just how could you not like them even with the Tom Brady year?
I don't like Mike from a fantasy football perspective for whatever reason. Like, he puts up these statistics, but he's maddeningly inconsistent week to week. So I don't usually draft him from a fantasy perspective, because one week he'll throw up like 4 points because he'll get like a 4 reception 30-yard line, and you're like, how do you get Mike Evans for 30 yards? And then the next week he goes off for like 120 and 2 touchdowns, and you're just like, oh, okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah. I noticed that too when I was looking through his stat lines one time. I was just like, oh, kind of weird. But what, the average is 58.5 yards a game to get to 1,000. So it's like actually not that many per game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, not to completely dog him. I love you, Mike. I love you, Baker. Send me a signed anything. But no, the last game is the most exciting game of the week, and for my money, I cannot wait for this game. It could be the only game I watch this week as long as I watch this one. The Vikings are going to Detroit. They both have 14 wins. The winner is going to have 15 wins, and the number 1 seed in the NFC, like James told us about a month ago, the Vikings had to run it, and they're about to run it. And the Lions, on the other hand, they're at home. They want to get 15 wins, and they want to be the number 1 seed and host the NFC through Detroit, which, good God, that's not happened since I've been alive.
I mean,
it's not happened since anyone's been alive.
Any one of us has been alive.
True.
The last time, like,
it hasn't happened since football's been invented.
I think 52 was like when the last time I think the Lions
were a number 1 seed
the championship game in 52.
It's been a long time.
What a
long time.
What a time to be alive, though. This will be the first time, speaking of history, like with Mike Evans, this will be the first time in NFL history, whoever loses, the first time in this structure of the playoffs that a 14-win team will be a wild card.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's absurd.
That's definitely going to get the talk about reseeding going again.
That is
that definitely will.
You're 14 wins and you're the 5th seed. That is ridiculous.
Well, honestly, personally, because of the history of the Eagles and the Minnesota Vikings in the playoffs, I would prefer Minnesota win this game, because the Eagles have always, like, since I've been around watching football, when the Eagles play the Minnesota Vikings in the playoff, they just simply own them. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Whether the Vikings are at home or the Eagles are at home, the Eagles always beat the Vikings in the playoffs. So I would prefer the Vikings get this, because I'm not scared of going into the Metrodome and taking them out. So
Ford Field, sir. It's not the Metrodome anymore.
Wait, hold on. Are we talking? Wait, we're talking about the Lions or the Vikings?
No, neither. No one plays in a dome anymore. It's USA Bank Stadium and Ford Field. So
USA Bank Stadium, where Vikings play.
Yep, I I found the disconnect. Yep, they play in USA Bank Stadium now, not the Metrodome.
Okay. I still call it the Metrodome, but that was the worst decision in Minnesota sports, was to put the Vikings in a dome. But
Low key, I would love to go to a Vikings game just to see that gorgeous stadium. I don't know. I gush whenever I see it. Just like, God, they got to.
Gorgeous and championship free since when? You know?
Yo, I was telling my wife about it. Like, now that we've been to Lambeau like 3 years ago, but I want to see Atlanta Stadium and I want to see Minnesota Stadium. Like, yes, obviously Levi's too, but anyway.
Last time Vikings went to the Super Bowl, they had no dome. They had no cover over their stadium. Hence why they probably haven't been to a championship or to a Super Bowl since. So,
Could be.
Home field advantage weather. Hey, I think there's a thing behind that.
There is, I think, yeah.
Anyway, YouTubers, obviously, you can see the bet that we have on here, the two most surefire things about this game. But for listeners, we think Jahmyr Gibbs, 75 total yards between rushing and receiving, and Justin Jefferson going off like he usually does, at least 70 yards. Congrats to Sam Darnold, by the way, for making the Pro Bowl along with Justin, and Jahmyr made the Pro Bowl with Sam. So,
what? Sam Darnold's good?
Or with Jared Goff. With Jared Goff.
What? Sam Darnold actually can play competent football when he has a good head coach. Oh my God!
And a freaking all-pro, all-world wide receiver.
Yeah.
And then another Pro Bowl worthy, arguably on a good day, Jordan Addison.
Yeah. Give him confident people, and he can actually win games for you.
I'm super excited about this game, and I'm ready to apologize for backpedaling and just flip-flopping on the Vikings. Like, you don't get to 14 wins. You don't get to 14 wins. You don't get to 14 wins doing nothing, which is saying something, because the Vikings, we were just making fun of winning like 12 of their 14 wins last time and 7-point wins. Like, no, this Minnesota Vikings team looks pretty legit. They look like they can grind out whatever kind of game is in front of them. Even if it's not an ugly win, or even if it is an ugly win, it's still a win. Like, this is going to be one hell of a matchup. I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, for sure. Probably one of the better Sunday night game matchups that we've had in a very, very long time, considering the teams, their records, what's at stake. We've seen some horrible, last week, of the season Sunday night games. I mean, think back to when the Eagles tanked and we had the Redskins winning the division at like 6-9-1 or something like that. That was a Sunday night game. So yeah, I think this is going to be a heavyweight bout. They're going to be throwing haymakers at each other consistently. I think Jahmyr Gibbs will get that 75 plus combined yardage, and Jefferson will go over 70 plus receiving, considering the fact that, especially since Detroit has so many injuries on defense. And we just watched them give up 38 points to the 49ers, whose offense has been pretty inept for the last month or so. So
yeah, I mean, I thought the Jefferson bet was fairly academic after watching them play against the Niners and seeing the Niners offense tear that Lions secondary up. I was just completely dumbfounded by the way that they were able to throw the ball and move things along.
They gave up 200-yard receivers between Pearsall and Kittle.
Yeah, I mean, it was just astounding. And I mean, not putting down Kittle or Pearsall in any way, shape, or form, but they're nowhere near Justin Jefferson's league in terms of receiver skills. So, I mean, like, if Kittle and Pearsall can put up 100 yards against them, I mean, Jefferson's going to go nuts. So, I mean, that seemed like a pretty easy bet that he was going to get to 70. And
Pearsall would have had like a 60-yard touchdown if Purdy let him down just like a little bit harder.
Yeah. And then, Gibbs is watching that game against the Niners. I mean, Gibbs was amazing. I mean, it's probably to their detriment that Montgomery plays as much as he does, to be honest, because, I mean, Gibbs can do it all out there. So, I mean, Gibbs getting 75 combined yards, rushing and receiving. Seems like that should be a lock in that particular game. It's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be very interesting to see. I mean, on paper, I guess you would say that the Vikings are the better team just because Detroit looked so leaky defensively the last few weeks here. I mean, they've given up, 30 plus points to the Niners and a bunch of points to the Bills and a bunch of points to some other teams and stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't know if the Lions can win anything other than shootouts right now. And I don't know that the Vikings defense is going to let you get into a shootout because the Vikings defense has been pretty legit all season long.
Van Ginkel deserved his Pro Bowl nod on the Vikings. Van Ginkel's had a great year. I like this. I like the way one commentator I was listening to put it. The Lions are going to live or die based on creating turnovers on defense. Like, if they can bend and not break long enough to create one pick, one forced fumble, to give the offense an extra opportunity to like keep them ahead, that's the way that they're going to survive these playoffs, is if they can get that one turnover, because they clearly are a turnstile on defense.
Yeah. So quick question, since the 49ers are not in the playoffs and the Eagles are, can we be an Eagles podcast until they're eliminated? Yeah.
A little bit of a jarring brand change, but
I mean, we'll just.
Are we like Eagles eggs then, or what are we? I mean,
Eagles nuts, right? Eagles nuts. Or...
I have a video.
Do Eagles have nuts? I mean, I don't know how that works.
I have a video I could put in the intro. I could find a way to edit it in where I swear there's this eagle in my old apartment complex just going to town on some roadkill. And I could put that in there, and then like some explosions and like a.
Yeah.
I think we should definitely do that for at least one of the episodes. Just the crazy Eagles intro.
Yeah. No, I mean it's. Well, hey, how's it feel the first year, 3 years into this, that we've finally had a bad season and your team is still like all 3 years minus the collapse you had last year? Like, how's it feel being the one team in the playoffs this time instead of both of us?
Can we get some love for Sirianni? Just like, I don't think people give that guy enough freaking credit to create a culture in which, yeah, last year they collapsed. It sort of looked like maybe the team wasn't fighting for him or whatever, but they went out and stuck up for him in the middle of the collapse. And then we come back this year and, the first 4 weeks, they're like, up and down, nobody knows. And then they run off 10 straight, taking out, the Ravens, the whole NFC or the AFC North. I mean, who knows? I mean, since Lamar Jackson's been in the AFC North, when's the last time an NFC team has swept the AFC North? Considering his record against the NFC,
yeah,
he's been
literally
in the league
like 2 losses.
He's been in the league for a number of years. Like, for an NFC team to go to the AFC, play 2 games on the road, come back 4-0 against the AFC North, you got to put a good culture together to do something like that, because that's always one of the tougher divisions in football.
Totally.
Yeah, I still just don't understand like what happened at the end of last year. I mean, it doesn't matter now, obviously, but I mean, it was just such a weird collapse that they had at the end of last year, and then to rebound the way that they have this year is really, I mean, it's a testament to what you're saying, right? That he was able to really coach them up and do what he did in terms of I guess if there was a culture split towards the end of that last season, to be able to sort of rein that in and change that around and bring it back to what it was supposed to be and get everybody on the same page by the end of week 4 or whatever it was this season and get it going again. And he's done a fantastic job. And he's one of the guys that should probably be candidate for coach of the year. He ain't going to win, but he'll be a candidate.
It's him controlling the emotions and setting the culture, in combination with Howie doing not so much the financials for what I'm trying to say, but like Howie finding the people that fit the culture that Sirianni is setting, like the yin and yang and like the symbiosis of like them being on the same mental wavelength. Like, like what we say about John and Kyle being on that same mental wavelength. Like,
Yeah.
that's very, very rare and very, very special when any team, us, the Eagles, very, very few teams can say that they have complete symbiosis between the GM and the coach. And it's really, really special when you do. And yeah.
And he coaches situational football. Like, when was the last time you saw the Eagles collapse and like the Raiders or the Bears in the fourth quarter, forgetting, how to play football, with the last like minute of the game on the line and just totally discombobulated. You have not seen anything like that from Sirianni in his 4 years as head coach. So, and that's a credit to him. That's not Howie. That's not coordinators. That's not any of that. That specifically goes to the head coach and getting your team ready for basically end of game situations where you don't make dumb mistakes. They have done like one or two, but it's nowhere. It's never really looked like what the Raiders and the Bears and their freaking mess ups at their years. It just hasn't been so awful, that was accumulation of awful, but for the most part, the Eagles down the stretch, situational football, they're really, really good at it. And that goes back to Sirianni as well. So, but this year, we'll see what happens in the playoffs, because they're going to be facing some good teams in the playoff, unlike 2022 when they had to beat the Giants and they beat the 49ers with, basically two hands tied behind the back because
broken quarterback.
Because he had two broken quarterbacks, so, we'll see if, they're either going to get Washington or Green Bay as their draw in the first round.
Who do you want to play out of those?
I'd rather play the Commanders.
I would much rather play the Commanders.
I think it's the Commanders coming back to Philly, the way the stadium will be, for, a third time for a division rival, and the familiarity.
Rookie quarterback.
Yeah, the familiarity between those teams.
A much leakier defense than Green Bay.
Yeah, I would rather have the Commanders. I mean, there's a reason why the Commanders are trying to get the 6th seed and not the 7th seed, I think, because they don't want to see the Eagles in the first round. And, they're really making that a thing of importance to have the 6th seed. So that's what I think, that even Dan Quinn is sort of afraid of playing the Eagles in the first round of the playoffs. And so, because you think, who's the 3rd seed? Who's the
Rams?
3rd? So yeah,
that's up in the air. So it'll be either the Rams or the Bucks. It depends.
Yeah. So if you're the Commanders,
it'll most likely be the Rams.
Yeah. So if you're the Commanders, who would you rather see in the first round? Would you rather see the Eagles, or would you rather see the Rams or the Bucks?
I don't want to see the Rams.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Commanders would rather see them than the Eagles. So I think
when it's between those two, yeah, I'll take the Rams, because you guys are clicking at the right moment.
Especially, Commanders fans have been coming out of the woodworks now. They go to LA. That might be a home game for them, so
LA equals not home game.
Yeah, exactly. So,
LA is never going to be a home game.
There's so many reasons for them to want the 6th seed, and not just because it's better than the 7th seed. The matchups are better, if they win. So, I think I would rather have the Commanders come in there. You take a rookie quarterback first year in the playoffs versus, an experienced team like the Eagles, who have veterans on defense and a good number of young people just to, who have all been there before. So
yeah.
Is it bad that at 15-2, just assuming the Chiefs are going to lose on Sunday, Andy Reid's getting absolutely zero love for Coach of the Year? I mean, just none. I mean, nobody talks about him as Coach of the Year at all. And meanwhile, the Chiefs have done nothing but just win all season long.
See, their wins were like weird, but this last month of the season they haven't looked this bad,
Yeah,
but starting to play like the Chiefs again, and you're like, son of a gun, man, we couldn't tell them while they were bad.
Yeah,
it's the Bill Belichick problem. Like, yeah, you're cool for a little bit, but then like you just keep hitting the standard again and again and again, and it's like, it's that narrative. Like, you got to have the narrative flair to it. You don't win Coach of the Year for consistency. You win Coach of the Year when you take a terrible team and make them champions.
I guess. I mean, we're all in agreement that Kevin O'Connell is going to win Coach of the Year, right?
Oh, I'd put money on him.
Yeah, I would think that he would, being the fact that, you know, they were going in with one quarterback, then they have to go to Sam Darnold and they win 14 games and almost have, I mean,
that's the best. That's hands down the best narrative. Like him,
I mean, maybe
Sean McDermott definitely should get some votes. I would not be surprised if he was like a nominee. They don't call them nominees, but like
finalist.
Sean McDermott should be a finalist. Kevin O'Connell should win. I'll agree there. I can't even think who would go up against both of them.
All right, so I think if Dan Campbell,
Tomlin should.
Yeah,
I think if Dan Campbell finishes with the 1 seed, given the fact of the injuries that he's accumulated during the years, like I think that would be a great testament to him. Like, you know, who knows? Whoever wins this,
those if it's just 4, those are 4 phenomenal nominees: Campbell, Tomlin, O'Connell, and McDermott.
Dan Quinn's got to get some love too, though, right?
Dan Quinn's got to get some love.
I mean, the Commanders were theoretically going to end with 12 wins. I mean, that's crazy.
Well, damn it! Let's just make it a tie this year, then. Like,
I mean, I'm very intrigued by that particular. Just because usually it's like, okay, yeah, obviously this guy's going to win that award. But I mean, while I agree that Kevin O'Connell probably is the favorite to win that award, you can easily make the argument for 2 or 3 other guys fairly easily and make a very good argument why they should win.
I feel like I disrespected not Campbell, Quinn, because you saying that and that festering in my head for the last 30 seconds, like, wow, Quinn, any other year, Quinn probably would be the front runner.
Yeah, if Kevin O'Connell didn't take the Vikings to 14 or 15 and whatever, I mean, right?
12 wins with a rookie in Washington, fresh off of Dan Snyder. Well, by 2 years, but that really is any other year, he probably would be the front runner.
Yeah. I just think that's interesting. We should just do a show one of these times coming up about who we think the finalists for the awards at the end of the season will be.
That would be perfect. And I do want to, I'm seeing we're getting close on time here in the 49ers podcast. Even though we're sad, I still have to ask this last question before the sign off in the celebrating the news. Just if we had any thoughts on the night. It's not evergreen to ask this, and we're very late because of New Year's, but like I alluded to at the very top, I guess just a little 2 cents summation of the game. Like, I was honestly very impressed the way that we played. Like, you alluded to it, that the Lions, it was more of a testament to the Lions defense being absolute trash. I don't disagree with that at all, but I like that just Kyle was able to find some fire to get into everybody and like, yo, there's some flaws on this defense that I know how to exploit. And if you trust me, we will. And we only lost by 6 points. Like, we had way more fight in us in this game than I expected. And these guys, even with a 6-10 record, and who knows what's going to be next week, it's Pasternaut versus, I don't know who the hell the backup is. Maybe Kyler will still go out there, but like we still went out there with some pride, and we wanted to have our last home game of the season with some pride. And like I said,
you had every reason to lay down in that game. Every reason to lay down. Like the way your season's been going,
we did.
Could have easily just said we're going to sacrifice the rest of the season to the football gods, and
blame the injuries,
tank for a better draft pick, all of that. But I mean, you didn't. Still lost, but you didn't. They had fighting them, against the Lions, and and they probably sweltered probably too. Like the Lions thought maybe they would be coming in for an easy win, and they just didn't get the 49ers laying down. So
our last game at home, and most of the players on our roster remember that NFC Championship win. Like, yeah, cool. You're fighting for the number 1 seed no matter what. We're still gonna make you earn that 14th win. Like, come get it.
Yeah, I think for me, the couple of biggest takeaways from that game were, Purdy still played at the level that I expected to see out of him. I mean, he threw for 377, 3 touchdowns. He did throw the 2 picks.
He did until he didn't.
Yeah. But I mean, he's playing again. I'm paying him between 50 and 55 million. I mean, we've talked about this ad nauseum, but he's right in that range of all those other guys that are piled up in that 50 to $55 million range. So, I mean, he continues to play in that space. So I'm fine with that. The defense on our side was also really bad. So I was a little perturbed by that. I mean, they were able to just sort of run all over us, which was kind of a theme this particular season. Our run defense was particularly poor all season long. And then the other big takeaway, and it's the thing that we have to figure out, and it's going to be one of the main themes that we have to solve in the offseason, is what's the deal with Debo? Because Debo, for all the grace and all the goodness and all the applause that he got for the last game because he showed up and played like the Debo that we're used to seeing, or that we're pretending that he still is, the Debo that showed up in this game is the Debo that we've had all season long again, where he got one reception and he got 3 carries and all totaled 21 yards. So now, I mean, yes, he got a touchdown out of it. Good for him. He ran a sweep. Big deal. But I mean, he's just not producing. And I don't know. It struck me in this particular game as, I don't know if it's a Debo problem or if it's a Purdy problem. And I say that in the sense that maybe Purdy just doesn't have any comfort or confidence in him and simply doesn't throw him the ball. I'll have to look, and I'll do it here in a little bit because I didn't think of it until just as I was talking. But like, I want to see like how many total targets he has compared to other guys on the team. And maybe he's just not getting enough looks, right? Because Purdy just simply isn't throwing the ball his way. Now, is that because Debo's not getting open? I don't know. I don't watch the All-22 film. Is it because Purdy doesn't have confidence in Debo? I don't know. But there's some sort of problem there that's preventing Debo from being what Debo was. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest narratives, along with all of the other free agent / cap issues that we're going to have next season, is what are we going to do with Debo? Because he's owed 24, 26 million, whatever it is. And there's absolutely no way we're paying him that kind of money for him to produce the numbers that he produced this year.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we want to keep paying him as a distraction? If he has value as a distraction, like there's some distraction value with Christian McCaffrey, but he can distract and produce. Right now, Debo, you can argue, isn't doing either. Like, again, as novice and lacking of all 22 film as I am as well, but Debo, we might just have to, I don't know. I would love to be in those meetings, because just from my outsider perspective, it seems like I don't know. I would be erring on the side of like, screw it, just eat the cap and just eat the cap. We've been eating the cap with Ark Armstead. We're gonna probably eat some cap with Javon Hargrave. Like, screw it, let's just eat some more cap. And just, John's pretty good at drafting. Like, yes, it's polar. Either the guy gets cut after year 1 or he's an All-Pro. But so maybe we want to take the odds. Maybe we want to take the odds on that and eat some dead cap in the meantime.
Anybody want to bet me $5 that John won't have a contract with Purdy until after training camp starts?
After training camp, he'll have Purdy signed before training camp.
You think he'll have? You want to go $5 on it?
Yeah, I'll go before. I'm not going to be cocky enough to say that it'll be before the start of free agency. I won't be that cocky, but I think he'll have I think he will have a contract before training camp. If you're giving me all the way to August.
Yeah, I mean, well, training camp starts when? Late July?
Oh yeah, last week of July. Yeah. No, Purdy. I cannot foresee John. Yes, we have the history. Like, I do not foresee John. There has to be a contract just sitting on the desk, just like, all right, here we go. Like, there's no way. He probably told his accounting team, like, yo, this is Purdy. This isn't Brandon being a little crybaby. Like, this is our quarterback. Offer him, I don't know, probably lowball him at 52. We can't
lowball him at 52. That's what John was going to do, and it's going to take us all the way to training camp.
No, lowball him at 52. Listen to where he cries at. I'm willing to go to 58. So if he cries and it's under 58, sign him.
I think
hope. I don't know.
think
Maybe I'm wishful. I'm wishful dreaming because yes, Brandon, and then Jimmy, the Jimmy trade situation, and then the Bosa situation. He'll get signed
I
before
think
August.
AAV he gets more. I think he gets more than that. That's just my personal guess. But he gets
No,
more than
AAV is gonna be 60. I know that AAV is gonna be at least 60. But the guarantees once those finally come out.
Well, yeah, the
they'll be-
guarantees. But I still think AAV he's going to be the number one quarterback at least the day that he signs. So
It'll be. I would not be surprised if the AAV was 61. Honestly, maybe 61 and a half.
I know Eric doesn't believe that.
Again, it's the guarantees. He's
It's the
gonna get.
guarantees,
He's
but
gonna get a higher AAV than Dak.
Yeah, he's got to get a higher AAV than that.
No. Just to wrap up our little thought on Debo. Debo was third in targets on the team with 81, so it's not a Brock problem. So Brock is throwing him the ball. He's just not doing shit with it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, remember 2 weeks ago, I think with that, sorry. You sent that in our private chat.
Oh yeah, I didn't want to lose track of it because it was very complicated for me to remember.
Sorry. Peek behind the curtains. I thought that was something that you didn't just say.
No.
But no, now I think that's a good place to end here. Like, we didn't need to harp too much on the Lions game, honestly. And yeah, that's our parlay for the week as well. And now we need to give a big shout out, if I can find it, to our sponsor that's been with us for 2 years, probably going on 3. I hope they keep going on 3. It's RoyalRetros.com. What is Royal Retros? It is your go-to place to get yourself an authentic throwback jersey, whether you're a basketball fan, a baseball fan, a major sports fan in general. They got you covered. And for all of us Bay Area fans in mind, check out the Candlestick Collection. It is curated with us Niners fans in mind. And you can use the promo code Shady Sports to get 10% off of your order when you find something that you like. Again, it's promo code Shady Sports to get 10% off of your order at RoyalRetros.com. Go get yourself an authentic throwback jersey today. James, you weren't with us, but Eric laughed that I ad-libbed that every single week, and he just now realized that a year into his tenure with us.
Well, you ad-lib that every week?
Yeah, I ad-libbed that every week.
Oh, see, he didn't know either.
I figured you did, but I'm just like, Eric didn't know that.
No, I thought he was reading off a little script.
Oh, do you
There's
think
little
I read off the script?
No, I know you ad-libbed yours.
Yeah, you've let it slip you out of script, which you should have memorized by now, good sir.
Yeah. One of these days, we got to get Eric to do the promos, like, and see how.
Oh,
he-
yo. There we
Oh,
go.
okay. They'll definitely be ad-libbed when I do them.
When we get a Manscaped promo.
Yeah. Love it. I'll 100% do that one.
I'll talk to Sam.
Guys, we've been raising money for Mountain Comprehensive Care Centers in Kentucky for the last year now, almost, bringing awareness to the lack of owner accountability in the NFL, basically because owners do bad stuff. We know there's a 31-team PowerPoint with all their dirt just out there for everybody to know that they're holding on to and hope it doesn't get out to the public. And already some stuff has. We've heard about the charges against the Houston Texans minority owner. We heard about the Niners' own Jed York and a insider trading scam. So yeah, we know there's a lack of accountability for owners simply because most of the people, if you don't watch this and you're just watching it today, are finding out that's news for the first time. But I bet you heard about Tyreek Hill when he got arrested opening day. Literally 10 minutes after he got arrested, everything's up for report and being reported and everything like that. So we're saying that the owner standards are less than player standards, trying to bring accountability to the owners. And we are selling our own t-shirts to bring awareness to that and raise money for Mountain Comprehensive Care Centers. Here's our statement: owner standards less than player standards, # owner accountability. You can get that in different colors, different sizes. $22.99 starts with a t-shirt. Next up, we have our podcast logo art. If you follow us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to us or watch us, you will find this in the profile picture. $22.99 gets you that in a t-shirt, and we have different styles and different sizes of that. Next is our alternate logo art. $22.99 starts with that in a t-shirt, and you can get different colors, different sizes, and different styles. And last but not least, how can you say no to a peanut eating peanuts, the official Niner Nuts mascots, while cheering on his San Francisco 49ers? $22.99 gets you that in a t-shirt. Go to bonfire.com, order yours today. All the proceeds go to Mountain Comprehensive Care Centers.
Yep. And like James said, I'll reiterate, the Bonfire store is in the show notes, as well as more information about Mountain Comprehensive Care Center. We don't want the proceeds. We want you to have a cool t-shirt and to help someone in need. My only bit of news that I want to share, or that I think is, well, if you have something, I won't say it's not worth sharing, but we have to celebrate that today, while we're taping on January 2nd, the Pro Bowl players were announced. I'm not debating the Pro Bowl because we don't have time for that. We need to go. But we have 4.
Jordan Mailata is not on it.
I have thoughts on Jordan, because I thought I thought Hurts got screwed, but then I was like, okay, but the guys that got in, like, I'm conflicted. But our 4 starters that made it, in our defensive end, Nick Bosa, middle linebacker Fred Warner, tight end George Kittle, and fullback Kyle Juszczyk. 4 starters, phenomenal. I'm glad they made it. I was impressed we had 4. The guys that did make it, I didn't think Nick was going to make it. I'll be honest. I didn't think Nick was going to make it. But we have 4 alternates as well for what they're worth. Leonard Floyd, surprisingly, an alternate. Awesome for him. He did have a pretty good season this year, all things considered. Brock Purdy is an alternate. Thank God. That's awesome. He still he rode the waves pretty well, honestly, given how bad the season was. Deommodore Lenoir, I'm low-key mad that he wasn't a starter, but the starters that were picked were pretty good. So you're still an alternate, and you got some kind of recognition. And who am I spacing on the 4th one?
Trent Williams.
Oh, yes, of course. Injured for most of the year, but still got a little bit of Pro Bowl love as an alternate. He's definitely not going to go, though, so it'll be a 3rd alternate if he gets called up.
I took votes away from Jordan Mailata.
Probably. But no, I mean, yeah, when he was out there, he's the best tackle, but like we've talked before, we still paid a guy top dollar for someone that's only guaranteed to play 12 games, if that. So that's awesome.
Take the Howie route. We paid Jordan Mailata almost nothing compared to the rest of the tackles in the league, and he's the highest grade lineman in all of PFF, and not just the lineman. If we go amongst players, he's the highest graded player too. And this dude's
higher than Penei Sewell?
Yeah, he's
really?
The highest rated player on PFF.
Dang,
he's the highest rated player, any league, any position.
Well, I'd have lost that bet. I thought Penei Sewell was the highest graded lineman, like just guard or tackle.
Yeah, guard, tackle, whatever. Highest graded lineman. I think he's number 1 in pass, and he's number 3 in run. So,
dang.
Yeah. So,
well, that sucks. Hopefully, he gets an All-Pro nomination then.
Yeah, but he should be on the 100 greatest player list this year. If not, this is a travesty, because Jordan Mailata needs more credit than us.
Well, look at Amon St. Brown last year. He didn't get a Pro Bowl, but he got first team All-Pro. So,
yeah, maybe we'll see that. Maybe he'll get first team All-Pro, but that dude needs more recognition than he's getting. So,
yeah. Eric, did you have anything before we sign off?
The only bit of news that I had was that Bailey Zappi is going to start for the Browns at quarterback this weekend.
Bailey Zappi signing. All right.
That's where Zappi signed? Oh, yeah. Snap.
So, 1,
Their
I didn't realize he was still in the league. 2, yes, that is indeed their 4th quarterback yet again this season. So the infamous Browns jersey, shirt just gets longer and longer and longer with names that have started at quarterback for the Browns. And 3, all props to the Browns for tanking properly and doing everything they can to ensure that they lose this game and try to better their draft pick standings. And then
that is fantastic news. I am so happy hearing that Billy Zappi, like, they've just given up that much on TDR or DTR, whatever it is. That's so funny.
Yeah, and then I'm a little sad that Saquon's not chasing the rushing record this weekend.
Why did you bet? Did you bet?
No.
Yeah,
but I would have liked to have seen it. It's just such a rare opportunity and a rare chance for that record to fall, because it's just such a hard thing to achieve. You have to really accumulate a lot of yardage over the course of a season to be able to to get that record. It's not as simple as just saying, you got a 1,000-yard season or whatever. I mean, you
honestly,
really have to.
I think there's an argument that his season this year is better than Eric Dickerson's season. Basically, because if you see, like, he got to 2,000 yards in probably just as many carries as it took Eric Dickerson to get to 2,000 yards. If you look at the carries, he's like 30 or 40 carries behind Eric Dickerson when he ran, 2105, or 2104, 2104 in 16 games. He has like 30 or 40 more carries compared to Barkley. So I think there's an argument to say that this is a better rushing season than that season. Also, given the fact that we are in a passing league as well, and he is on a team that has Devontae Smith and AJ Brown and Dallas Goedert and the fact
and Jalen Hurts, who vultured a lot of touchdowns and yards from him. So.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts, who is part of the run game as well in Philadelphia. So I think this 2,005-yard rushing year from Saquon Barkley is better than Eric Dickerson's rushing record 40 years ago.
How many yards rushing? I'm gonna see how many yards rushing Hurts did have this season. I mean, like, how many yards did he actually like?
I don't think he had like a whole ton.
I'm gonna bet it's. I
think he had like 10 1-yard touchdowns.
Yeah, it's 630 yards rushing.
Yeah.
How many was that again? Say again.
630.
Okay, I was off. I thought it was only gonna be 400.
So I mean, like, even if you give Barkley just like a third of those,
dude, yeah,
he easily eclipses the rushing title. Not to mention he vultured 14 touchdowns. That's the more insane part.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts had like 11 1-yard touchdowns.
Yeah,
that's way.
Yeah,
that's. I mean, he's still 2,000 yards is still an amazing season.
Yeah, but shout out to your guy. I was really impressed with Barkley this season. It was really good to see him get free from the pit that is the New York Giants and play for a really good team, and really be able to take advantage of his skills and his abilities and everything like that. It was really interesting to see that this season, and see real talent at the running back position again, and it was just kind of cool to witness. And I hope that he's able to stay injury free, knock on wood, not necessarily, just for this playoff run, but for future seasons to come, because he can really seem to be a generational talent and one of those running backs that kind of harkens back to that 90s era, that you can look back on and be like, oh my gosh, I saw that guy play. I saw that guy run. And I kind of like to see that brand of football.
And may that clip of Mr. Mara live on forever, where he tells the general manager, Saquon is our most popular player. I'm going to be heartbroken if I wake up and see that he signed with the Eagles. Mr. Jimmy B, let's get us out of here.
Outro music, River Road, Justin Youth.
Later, y'all.
Back on Tuesday, beat the Cardinals. Even though there's no point.
River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long. River Road, Where have all the women gone? Have they kissed her hand and waved you bye-bye? Have they thought about crossing your double yellow lines? River Road, they love the way you whine and cry.